Call the meeting to order of the Whately Board of Assessors on December 19th, 2024. We're here to talk about two major items, the budget for next fiscal year 26, and also the what to do with farm animal excise tax and farm vehicle excise tax. The budget is something that I guess is more critical than the other item right now, because town administrator needs something, a proposed budget by the end of December. And we won't be meeting until next year sometime, so we need to get that in soon. I guess Stephen won't be with us for a week or two here either, so it's critical we get that done today or next day or two. And the other item for the farm vehicle and excise tax, we don't really have to act on that until January sometime, because the tax bills are already set to go out that will not address that. Them two items, so that can be out as a separate tax bill later on next year, so. We need an answer, I guess, or just a recommendation from this board to the select board for their, I think it's January 14th meeting. So if we don't decide anything today, we'll have to decide at our next meeting, hopefully before January 14th. Okay. Stephen?
Yes.
You've had done some work on the budget.
Yes, so
What
what,
did it make a copy?
yes, I have two extras.
Well,
You-
yeah, I'd like to see what you.
So, I'm sorry, I thought that's all I had. This is all that I had for printing out. You got more?
Oh,
This is the same of what, I sent out, this
I
morning.
didn't print out.
Yeah, you have additional information for that I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, some other items here.
I'll share it with you. I thought this is all I got. How about you, Jenny?
What's the question?
I only got this in the email, and Brad's got additional information here. I don't know if you
Yeah.
got it.
I've got additional information, of dollar figures before Stephen came on board, I guess, because some of this goes back to 24. They want to know our expenditures in well, calendar year or fiscal year 24. They have a comparison to 25. And I guess compare that to what we're proposing for 26. 24 kind of is a different animal because we didn't have RRG then, so our salaries for one are gonna be considerably different.
Well,
So,
we lost Cynthia.
yeah, when we lost Cynthia, so. And what Stephen is presented for fiscal 24 expenditures, I guess that's only RRG's expense, right?
Correct.
It's the $6,666.
Now that's what's expended. We've got 40,000 in currently in a request to go up to 41,500.
Okay,
When did our RG start? That's probably the answer.
well, no, they started that was May and June, it was 2 months of
Okay.
24.
There's our answer.
Okay,
That's
but if you add the other. That's not our total, I guess you need to add Cynthia's time in there, you need to add the Board of Assessors. Time in there, all that, so.
Okay,
What do you
that's-
mean adding Cynthia's time in there?
Well, it's 18,474, if you wanna know exact.
For when? What does that cover?
Before, that's Cynthia's time when she was with us for, I don't remember, part of the year from July
You're
1.
talking about 24?
Yes, for 24,
Okay, you're talking about expended money.
right.
Okay,
And then, the Board of Assessors, our stipend for that was 5634. Because there was only two of us for most of the time, and we weren't all three together, so that was less than the 6,000 the year before.
Yeah,
But it shows nothing in 24.
And there
that's his point.
Yeah,
Okay. Very good.
and there was also a longevity, Cynthia got the 250 for that.
Okay, just a second to catch
Is
up.
that like a bonus?
No, that was longevity for over, I don't know, whatever, it was 10 or 15 years service to the town.
You got it.
All employees got the 250. If they worked that many years for the town.
Uh-huh.
I forget what the personnel policy says.
Sure.
Yeah,
Not a particularly big amount
no,
for that much service.
no.
No,
Okay, so.
$10 a year. Okay,
Yeah.
let's move on.
The other items, yeah, I agree, okay, that, looking at continuing with the 24 expended column, the $75, meetings, yeah, that's fine. Office supplies, 76.89, yeah, that's what we spent. 2,700 software fees, yeah, that's okay.
I'm honestly looking at something different here. I'm not seeing these numbers.
No, they're in this column,
Which year in the 2024 column?
yes,
software fees, 20, line 20.
I'm with you now, okay.
yeah, okay. The ones for 4350 for the GIS, mapping GIS, okay. And the 3750 for Mayflower property valuations, yeah, that's fine, okay. So you're gonna get new totals for the total when you add the personnel stuff in there,
Okay,
So I have two questions.
okay?
Why is the one registry of deeds box highlighted? Because you knew there was something that needed to go in there?
yes, I just didn't know the amount
Okay,
was spent for that year.
Well, what we had, $3 and $7 prior years, I don't know.
okay. And my other question is the software fees. That drastic increase is correct? I think we talked about that once.
So between 24's expenditures and 25's appropriation?
Yeah,
Yeah.
$4,000 jump.
Yes, so that is in regards to the upgrade to the
Okay.
CAM system.
Right. Okay,
Okay.
and then to get to the 26 value, did you actually talk with them to see what that is, or are you just assuming a certain percent?
Nope, they've already given us the figures for that year. So that's 7,500.
100, okay,
And when you
but then we
present,
saved it on the Mayflower.
right, yeah, we're not hiring them at all.
and
Okay.
as- and as you present this to Peter, we'll have line item notes saying this is why there's an increase, because he'll be asked at the select board, he'll be asked why we went from a certain number, 27, is that normal? That we, side note, this is because,
Well,
or does he just know that?
They should know.
somebody does, others, I don't think we need explanation for every line item.
Well, for the big jumps.
Well, I don't consider that a big jump, so
Okay,
from, 69 to 7,500,
well, 27 to 6, well, okay, to 75. Okay.
yeah, I'm looking individual.
And can we actually reorder the rows so that the one that goes up a bit and the one that comes down a lot are
So it's
more
easier.
evident next to each other? Or is that not something we can do?
No, I don't think they want us messing around with that. With the
Okay,
order, because every department has the same
Oh,
listing of
gotcha,
items on here.
gotcha.
Whether they're
Okay.
using, they're listed,
That's a good question.
and even the town accountant does not go by these general expense items. She doesn't keep track of it that way. They do
Okay.
the totals personnel and other stuff and maybe software. So it's more for the town administrator and finance and whatever to see specifically what items we're paying for, I guess, or the increases in what items. The accountant only looks at the totals, and if we're within the budget,
You're good,
you're good.
but what is dues and meetings?
Dues, well, that's for the Mass Association of
Okay.
Assessors.
Okay,
That
very
was
good, very good.
the only one. I think there's only one of us belonging right now, myself, I think.
Yeah,
That was the $75.
and I'll talk to you about after this meeting about joining myself.
Yeah. So, okay, but going down the column for the mapping GIS. You come up with a new figure of 5,000, Stephen?
Yes,
Is that based on
5,000.
discussion with them or,
yes,
okay? That one up 15, okay, okay. Computer repairs, you've got, okay, 900, what are you planning on doing there?
I was thinking of getting a new monitor for the assessor's PC.
Okay. Is that, if you priced anything out, is that, how'd you come up with that?
Well, that price actually also includes, the cost of a printer. I have not priced any, but, I just gave that as a general estimate.
Oh, just, well, did you get some, hardware maintenance, okay. And then there's also, office supplies. Okay,
Hmm.
well, okay.
Should I adjust that to?
I would suggest office, well, either both office supplies and then, well, you got hardware maintenance, 200. I guess that's fine.
Yeah, there's separate
Yeah,
categories.
that's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. Okay, so, getting back at the top, personnel, for the board assessor stipend, okay, they will adjust that, I guess, based on the cost of living increase that they give all employees, right?
Oh, for the
Officials,
projection.
I don't know what they're
yeah, I don't know how they,
projecting,
Determine that.
4%, 3%, it's a cost of living,
that's all it is, yeah, okay.
so that'll go some. Now, how'd you come up with, for your services, 41.5?
That was based on the figure provided in the contract between Regional Resource Group and the town of Whately.
I thought that was 40,000 for up to 3 years.
That was 40,000 for the first year.
No, that's not the way I've seen that, the contract.
I didn't see the contract, I thought it was 40,000 per year. But it's 40,000 for 3 years.
For up to renewing it for up to 3 years, yeah. Town manager's sole judgment, elect to extend the contract for up to 2 additional 1-year terms, aggregate not to exceed 3 years. Okay, unbilled at 333.33 monthly starting July 1. For expenses required. I don't see where there's an increase.
Well, how much, 333.33?
Yeah, that's 40,000 divided by 12.
Okay, there you go. So where's the increase is your question?
Yeah, where's the increase coming from? It's right in your contract there. I don't see, I assume that means 40,000 for up to 3 years.
Unless that's a cost of living issue too, but we have that contractually.
Well, that doesn't affect that.
Right, shouldn't affect that.
Because it doesn't affect the other two consultants we use.
Then find more information on this. Oh, I think it says the total contract price for year one shall be 40,000.
Yeah,
Um. That was for FY 25.
I don't see anywhere there where it says you can increase every year or renegotiate the price. I think that was 40,000 up to 3 years.
Check into that.
Okay, I'll look further into that.
And Greg, appease me, the assistant assessor extended, that's RRG and Stephen, 66, 66, 66.
Yes.
Okay, very good. And that
2
was the-
months.
Right.
That's May and July, May and June.
Short, right, gotcha, very good. And the stipend is, we talked about that, and the longevity, we talked about that, so we're missing Cynthia's time in here.
Right, the 18, whatever I had told you.
And that would go under, another line item, or,
Well, no, well, you can
Where
put
would you
it under the
put it?
same, you can put it under the
It
same one.
would be added to the 6666.
okay, and again, okay, and,
That's,
Basically, it's 10 months of Cynthia and 2 months of RG.
okay, good. So that needs to be thrown in there
yeah,
too.
that's 18,474
18,474.
in addition to your 666. I put them both in, I guess it's one entry for that line. I don't see the need to separate it right now.
No,
Just because you're gonna confuse them.
Okay, updated.
So all that, I don't know your expenses, well, they're gonna be less at the bottom line. Well, you gotta add yours at 6, so
Yeah.
you're 44, you're close, you're gonna be close to what's
what bottom line you're looking at now?
24. 2024,
Yeah, the 14,
bottom line,
639.
yeah, 14,639.
yeah.
Why do you say that would be close for adding
Well,
18,000,
yeah, plus the 6, so that's 24 right there.
right?
25, 666, that's 25,000 right there. And we have a little less on the board's assessor stipend, so.
Board of Assessors.
Gotcha. Okay.
Let me see what, oh, it's
So it's roughly 39, 6, it's gonna be 45, 6. No matter what we paid. I guess 22 and 23, more. Look at that, look at it that way,
And then the big reduction in Cynthia.
right?
Okay.
Well, that and the 2 software ones, we don't pay Mayflower.
Right.
Well, no, the utilities went on Mayflower. We don't pay,
So the projection looks huge, but it's easily explainable, right?
yeah,
For the stipend request.
yeah.
Oh, so do we have an expenditure from last year's.
For the stipend?
Yes.
Yeah, I had 5634. Okay. Ooh, 45, 660. 664,
It's almost identical to 23.
right,
That's interesting how that turned out.
yeah.
I am somewhat understanding that our GM Cynthia somewhat canceled themselves out.
Yeah.
To some
For the
degree,
2 months, yeah,
to some degree,
yeah.
okay. Then it just looks weird to see that big increase for 2025. Oh, it's not a big increase, it's 45, okay.
From
It's an
45
increase.
to, yeah,
Yeah.
58, well, yeah. Yeah, because the first line went from 23 up to 40, so that's where your big increase is, 17,000 right there.
Yes, there it is. There it is.
And you take out the 9,000, whatever, here we had before,
That's, yeah, that we didn't, that we've lost.
right?
And this is our budget. This is the Board of Assessors budget. There's not anything else that we're not aware of.
No. Shouldn't be.
This budget is sent over to Peter. He'll sit in front of the select board like he did with the other budget. Will he request our presence at that time also?
Yeah, he can, yeah. We usually, yeah, I think one of us usually is there.
Okay.
That or Stephen, for sure.
And who's ever there, even if we should just make sure we have our ducks in a row so that they don't find an error that we don't see.
But most increases are just, well, the new contracts, really,
Yes,
we're talking about. The
Yes.
rest is
pretty much.
routine stuff.
Yes, yes.
So if you leave, so if you,
And how long would it take you, Stephen, to input these changes? Would take long, I would bet.
The one that we just went over today,
Yes.
I was making them.
As we go.
discussion, Yes.
So the only question really on this budget, other than what we've addressed, is the increase from 40 to 41.5, 25 to 26.
right,
Other than that, this flows as it should. There's no surprises here that jump out at us that can't be explained.
right.
Okay.
So what's the next step on this?
Go ahead, Stephen.
Next up from this will be submitted, back to Peter.
And he'll present us with any questions he may have or accept it. Okay. And I hate to say this, but there's no surprises that we're gonna all of a sudden find out later. This is just straightforward. Nothing's gonna jump up. There's not gonna be a lightning rod issue, anything. It's right here. It's black and white. It's credible data. Okay, that's all I would care about.
So you have time to investigate your contract costs here
Yes,
before you submit this?
yes.
So if you're stuck with the 40,000, it's gonna bring this down, what,
A little bit.
1,500, so
Yeah.
you're gonna be
about 60,000, 6,500.
no, 60,900, so which is compared to the 58,900, yes, so only 2,000 increase. Roughly.
And he wanted this pretty quick, but I would bet a phone call would alleviate that 41.5, or at least something to that effect. Then we can give it to Peter. He was wanting it, at least that's the impression I got last time we talked to him.
Yes. Okay. So once you finalize your cost here, you'll send us the final copy that you submitted to Peter, okay?
Yes. We won't need another meeting. Much of a
No.
copy.
No.
Okay, good.
No, it sounds like we're fine with it once that question of the $1,500 is resolved.
Yeah, because we could easily go through this and explain any increase or decrease.
Right.
Okay, I'm on board.
Yeah, that probably won't be till February sometime, in late January, February,
But when,
when they talk about budget stuff. I don't know the schedule.
I thought he wanted it, well,
Yeah, he wanted
if
it,
Peter wants it, then we
he
should get it
wanted it
for
at
him.
the end of this month, but,
If he wants it, we should get it for him. So,
yeah, it's for him putting it up all together and presenting it to the finance committee
It's a
and
chore.
select board.
they're gonna,
At the end of January, so I was told, end of January, early February, so. I guess there's time.
are we good on this one, on this budget?
Yes,
I know you had mentioned,
as far as I'm concerned, okay,
okay, do we need to vote on it, or?
I guess we can.
I don't know, I just trying to
Sure,
follow protocol.
yeah, I don't, it hasn't
That's all
come
I'm trying
up
to do.
before in the past, but, okay. I'll make a motion, we submit the budget as we discussed here, with the clarification that Stephen's gonna make on his RRG, contract amount here,
And Cynthia's,
to a town administrator.
second,
Okay, all those in favor?
aye.
Aye. Okay,
Do you have another agenda? Because we have the time, and I'm wondering if we could go over the animal excise tax.
yeah, we can,
And I spoke with you earlier today, Fred,
yeah,
but I did call the Deerfield assessor.
yeah,
And I did ask them why they eliminated their excise tax for animals, and evidently they had done that in 2008. Her response was, first of all, those forms have to be manually sent out,
okay,
and that's somewhat manually, it's not so much as manual intensive, but it has to be recorded through her own chart.
right, yeah,
Not something we can pull out of the computer. She didn't think it was cost effective. She did mention that she thought that farmers don't make a lot of money, and we're not talking a lot of money here. And of course, you and I and Jenny don't want to go out and count cows. And the total revenue was $700, that was attributed to the farm animal excise tax, which is with the 4 individuals in town comes up to, I don't know, $135 a person. So it was our recommendation that we not make that assessment. I wanted to just go one step further, because Peter had said they may ask, is there a trend line? Why should we eliminate this if the farms are increasing in the valley or decreasing? And that's where we have a little bit of a problem, because Cynthia kept her own books for all these years. And we're in a change, more or less, and getting that data may not be as simple as possible, but if we could get 2 years back, we could at least present that to the board, and then they could not ask us, get us the more data at the board. We already have it for them, so they can make a decision. Is that something that's hard to do? I know I spoke briefly with you on that, Stephen. Could we get the animal excise out? And before I go there, has the new forms been sent out for the year? Because this chart was based on 2023.
On 24.
Well, it says calendar year 2023.
Oh, it's
Oh, I'm sorry, calendar year 2024. Okay. So this is data from stuff we had sent out. Those forms, it's called the oh, I didn't write it down, I'm sorry. It's a Massachusetts form. So I guess what I'm saying is, if it's not a burden, could we at least show them some sort of trend line? As to what the excise tax was 22 and 23. It should be available to us, but again, with the change, and as Cynthia had worked with Brett and whoever else was the assessor all these years, and they had a pretty tight ship going there, and now we've changed a bit. We're just trying to stay with the change. Am I offline here in that request, or what do you think, Fred?
Well, we can ask for that, but let me, I assume it's Cynthia left it somewhere in the files. Have you seen other tables like this?
This is the only one that I've seen.
Okay. Did you bring with you the request or the responses that these farmers sent to us?
I did not bring that folder with me.
Wait a minute.
Because I guess I'd like to know whether,
When does that go out?
you know, whether, you know, this says fiscal, calendar year 24. When did she send these out? Or did they come back in January, February, where she left for this year, which is what we would use for fiscal year 25? Or was this something that went the year before? I guess I'd like to see their responses, and what's the dates on the response? What does that, if it has a date, for what year?
Yeah, I think you've got a point. What date did she send them out?
Why do we care?
Well.
Well, it kind of,
Peter had mentioned that we can certainly tell the board in our recommendation that we not charge the excise tax for farm animals, but he also said you may get requested to prove if there's a trend, if this is going up or down. And I just don't want the board to send us back to the drawing board. I want us to have it up and ready so that we look credible, not that we're not credible, but that would be my concern.
Okay, the timing of it feels irrelevant to me. I mean, the fact that, you know, knowing when stuff was sent, that just, I don't know why we care about that.
Well, we'll be sending it again. No, yes, we don't know right now.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, to me, it doesn't matter when
well, okay.
anything was sent, but Mike, you said that Pete said the farms are going up in value, so why would we eliminate this expense for them?
He didn't say that. He said, if you're gonna make the recommendation that we not charge animal excise tax, you might want to be sure that you've looked into the past and find out if this dollar figure has increased or decreased, or have that information ready for the board so the board can say, yeah, we agree with 100% and be done with it. I know it's minutia, but
No, well, so that makes sense to me, because I think he's saying, okay, so you're saying for this year, it's a savings or a loss of $700 if we waive it. But
right.
was that trending up?
Or down.
In which case, right? That's what he asked.
That's what he's asking. He thinks the board will ask us that.
Okay, so do we know the answer to that question?
Don't.
Not today, I don't know,
It's-
Stephen, can you get that? You think that's available?
Yes, that Yeah, it should be available.
I think it should be available. It's again from the transition of the old to the new, and where is this data? Because it's put together on such a, it's just not, you can't just go on the computer and pick it out, can you? There's probably gotta be some hard copy somewhere
Yeah,
that
Well,
was done each year.
Even other than that, let me ask you, Stephen. The payments for these in the past had to go into some account that
Yes,
the town accountant keeps track of. And I assume it's called farm
Excise
animal
tax.
tax.
Yeah.
She should very easily pull up what that was in that account for the last 2 or 3 years. Without going through your file and looking at forms and adding up totals. I mean, what revenue did we get for farm animals? I assume that is a separate line item. If she says it goes in with general revenue,
Yes,
well,
that's a problem.
then we have no idea. We gotta go back to forms and add a number, add them up.
Brett, if I could, they may have made it one, just gone to the very end and said, this is the farm
Yeah,
animal tax
Right.
and machinery.
right. Well,
So
if it's
pulling that
total-
out could be a problem.
Well, but then we're comparing the machinery again. I mean,
And that's not what was requested of us. We were only requested to decide if the animal excise tax should be eliminated or not. We weren't really even tasked with the machinery or the inventory.
well, yes and no. Cause this is billed as a separate item for the farm machinery. It's not. The way I understand it, it's not entered in with personal property tax bills. It's a separate request.
But.
And wait a minute,
Yes.
and our tax collector is asking us, do we, not only for the farm animals, what's our position, but for these, farm machinery taxes here? Do we still continue with that? Because it is not, as she's saying, it's not automatically included with personal property. It has to be a separate billing. And do we want to continue a separate billing for the $7,000 for that or not? Because some of these exceptions, if it's related to so-called personal property, we have, a $5,000 limit for personal property. Anyways, some of these are under the 5,000, so why treat them differently than other personal property? So I guess that's also a decision we have to make, and not today, but, the tax collector is asking, do we continue with these the way they are? Because it has to be a separate billing that she's gonna do.
I'm a little confused on that.
So what's decided by us and what's decided by the state?
In terms of animal values,
Well, this process, it's by us, I guess, if we
It's just
decide
by
to
us.
tax animals or decide to tax farm machinery, that's up to the board here.
Okay,
Well, the board and select board, I guess you could say.
can we step back just one? I thought the tax collector asked us to address animal excise tax. I didn't see anything else.
Right, well, I had a discussion with her.
Oh, you already did?
Yeah,
Okay, very
I
good.
already did
I
that.
didn't know that. Cause
So-
we
so-
were gonna send this memo to the board, which only addressed excise tax.
Farm animals.
Yes,
Yeah, so right now, none of these on this spreadsheet are being sent, no requests are being sent to these owners for these taxes. Animal or machinery accounts. None is being assessed until the tax collector hears from us as to whether we continue or not with these. Is what the decision is, so we need to make,
and
You know-
that is, you're talking about the application for excise on farm animals, machinery and equipment,
right,
that thing that gets sent out.
right,
They're asking, should we continue with that?
right,
Okay, I did not know that.
yes.
so
So we need
who's making is the request from the farmers not to tax their animals? Or it's from Amy, so she doesn't have to do the separate process?
Well, she's asked us to look into it, yes.
Yes, the tax collector, yes, is asking us
Okay.
that.
Is it a separate process for the machinery as well?
Yes,
It gets listed out separately.
In the same way that our cars get listed?
Good question.
Yes and no.
That's a good question.
No, because the farmers identify the machinery and the value they paid for it and the depreciated value. For our cars, it's done by DOR or Motor Vehicles in Boston. They have set values based on your car.
Car age.
That's hard to change unless it's
Okay.
demolished, destroyed or whatever, but no, these are values that the farmers have told us for their equipment. And it's something that I guess we look at like some of these we did see last time we met, a listing of like 25, 30 different pieces of equipment for a farmer. And it totaled, say like on here, 300,000.
Yeah,
Some of them have a large amount, but we have no idea to verify that other than it looks reasonable. You know, a tractor for $20,000, okay, that's reasonable. If they put $200 for a farm tractor, then we would say, hey, I think that's valued more than $200. So, you know, we go by reasonableness. We can't verify every piece of equipment's value like the state does for motor vehicles. They do that for every vehicle that's registered. Well,
Right.
some of these aren't, most of these aren't registered probably.
Right.
So,
It's a good
I'm
question.
I'm trying to separate out sort of what's a philosophical decision and what's a practical decision. No, are we opening the door for anything else to not be taxed?
well, we did a few years ago, personal property less than 5,000. We said we were not gonna tax. And we
Okay.
went, select board approved that and we implemented that policy. We don't tax for less than 5,000 value for personal property.
Okay,
And there was, I don't know, I'm guessing, I don't know, half, maybe 20, 30 owners had it that way. 30 out of 100 maybe were under 5,000. And it was a task that they had to keep track of, I guess, to make sure all the 100 got it rather than the 70 that really applied to. And if they had 30, and if they didn't apply for it or send it, then somebody had to do follow-up. Well, you still own this vehicle, or you still have this personal property that you're not showing? I mean, it was a monitoring process too involved. And for that little value, for the 5,000 or less, it was more work than it was worth it.
right. Okay,
And I don't remember what the value come up to was. I don't know, I'm guessing maybe $10,000 or less in taxes we would get from that.
Oh,
yeah,
that was here.
No, the other personal property.
Oh, the other
Personal
less
property,
than 5,000 he's talking about.
Yeah.
5,000 value, so,
I need glasses.
yeah. So
Okay,
it wasn't worth all that effort for them 30 owners to get $10,000.
right,
Property tax. So there is some precedent of doing that, yeah, I guess.
okay.
Yeah,
And, well, can you imagine any other category of thing where there could be a request, like, can you stop taxing this?
no, it's more the other way. What, should we be taxing some other things like, generators, electric generators? A lot of people have generators now. Okay, we don't tax for that. Solar panels, we don't tax for that. We're lucky to know how many there is out there. I don't know if we even know that. You know, there were things that we've seen change in numerous properties, but we don't tax it, and that's not atypical of other communities as well. They don't tax either, because they don't know what the value is. What are you gonna count solar panels, or, I don't know, or look at the building permit value? I don't know.
Well, and that they change over time.
Yeah, and the state hasn't told us you need to monitor that, or keep track of that, or add values to that I'm aware of.
Uh-huh. Okay. So do we know? So we do, can we find 5 years of history on the animals?
Animals, right,
That's up to Stephen.
that's a good question. We don't know. It should be there. It's just, we don't know where it might be. It should be there. You had a great, go to the accountant. They should have some sort of, and they could give you a value and then you can extrapolate out.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, they can give you a tax number and you can extrapolate out the
Yeah.
value based on that.
Yeah.
But I don't know why we would eliminate the personal property tax completely, farm equipment,
On
Well, I-
animals or machinery?
machinery.
Then it's only this, for 7,000, do that
Right.
for 7,000?
Yeah, then we're only,
Yeah.
you know, because we've always taxed both animal and machinery. And the request now is, should we tax excise? And Fred's saying he spoke more with the town collector and they wanted to know about machinery also.
But if you look at the. What's the value, personal property, what are we telling them?
You said a $5,000 exemption.
Yeah, I know, but what are we collecting total for personal property?
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I don't have a number. Oh, wow, that's
uh,
I see what you're saying.
personal property, $18 million we get for personal property. So if you're looking at,
Oh, I'm sorry.
well, that's value, that's not tax dollars, that's the value,
Wow, we're doing great.
18,000 versus 7,000 we're gonna worry about? Well, that's value, okay, so I don't know what all them add up to.
Yeah, indeed, I don't know if they added up to.
Yeah,
I could
so-
quickly do it if you
So
want.
you're saying the animals were valued at 7,000 and the property was valued at 18 million?
No,
Personal property for the whole town is 18 million.
oh, the whole town, okay.
And what
Okay.
percent of that is farm machinery?
I don't know, we don't know.
What is personal property? I mean, it's not,
It's mostly it's on commercial, industrial. Developments that have equipment to manufacture stuff.
Run their business.
Run their business, machinery. We have some that are restaurants that have stoves, refrigerators, coolers, all that kind is personal property, has some value to the business. Not just inventory, I guess. It's more than just inventory. It's just equipment and stuff, property they use to generate the business.
okay. So I'm sorry, I feel like I already asked this. The farm machinery needs to be done separately like the farm animals do?
Yes,
That's how they've done it.
Yes, that's what I've been told.
That's how they've
yes.
done it.
And what about commercial property?
Well, there is value for commercial property, but I don't think we separate personal property and commercial. You'd have to go through the list and compare and add them up yourself, I guess, to see how much they have. I don't think that's been done. Well, I didn't know the value of commercial property is a lot more than 18 million, so. I mean, you're really getting into stuff that, commercial property is 27 million value, okay, well, no, 39 million. You take 39 and 27, so, okay, 40, you're 70 million valuation for commercial industrial property, and you got 20 million is personal property. In addition to that, so you take
Okay.
so a third of that is personal property.
Okay, how come you can look up that number and you can't look up farm machinery?
Good question.
Because we never look at it that level of detail.
It's a good question,
But now we're being asked to.
right? But we're.
Right, because the benefit to the town for the expense of administering it is negligible, if any.
perhaps not cost effective.
Not cost effective, they're looking at being more cost effective with, it's not, getting the values, and generating the bill, sending it out, getting it back and recording it somewhere and keeping track who sends, who doesn't, and then what do you do if they don't? I don't know.
Can I just back up a bit? We're really struggling with, I thought we were just struggling with eliminating the tax on the animals. And
Well, that's the first thing.
that's the first thing, but you're also suggesting that we might want to do the same on the personal property,
Yes,
even though you have a reduction, and because that, so you're looking at another 7,700, that would be,
yeah,
and just saying, you know what, this is a. I think it would be cost effective to go after that money. I just don't think
I know,
the
it's,
710 is cost effective.
right, but you're talking 7,000 tax, so what's our budget? 6 million? What's the town budget, 6 million? Something?
Yes, yeah.
So what are you talking, 1%?
I just.
1% of our budget, you're going after 1%?
I have a feeling the board is gonna
I-
say, yeah,
Well, we'll just leave it up to them and tell them,
yes,
you wanna go after 1% of our budget?
yes.
To spend town resources and employees and all that to do it?
I mean, that's a good argument.
I just don't understand why it's all separate. I mean, it's seems,
Uh,
I don't know, it could be the way the state set everything up and how they keep track of income for each town.
If you were
Yeah.
if you were in the office, we could show you, how the DSL sends out with their request, this form that shows what things are worth. And then they just write it down and send it back to us, and then it's put together in a, little spreadsheet, but it's all hand, not an Excel, it's all hand spreadsheet.
yeah,
Scribbled together, and separated apart, and that was done by, that's how Cynthia did it.
I mean, I can make the philosophical argument that farming is different and we value it and therefore should treat it differently. I just
But-
feel like somebody else could challenge that, why do farmers get a break when no other business does?
Well, the plight of the farmer, but I guess we're talking the size of the break here.
Yeah.
At the day, $710 versus 7,000. Is the size of the break that they
Yeah, I
get.
think the animal
There
part
should
is
be,
easier.
yeah, that's easier. I'm of the opinion that it should stay, because it's not the animal, but the other one.
The machinery.
Yeah, because,
Well, then,
other than us being asked to look into it, it's, I don't understand why that we're asked to look into it, to be honest with you. Because it's such minutia, is that what they're trying to tell us?
right,
It's just, the clerk's like, this is minutia, it's not time effective, cost effective, let's just be done with it. Well, then we should let's make our recommendation and let the board decide from there.
well, you gotta wait for Stephen to find those
Yes.
answers, for our
Yes.
next meeting on the trends here. Yeah, I guess we can do both if you want for the,
I tend to
Um,
agree with Mike. I feel like I'd like to have a better understanding of why why there is a philosophical difference in how this one industry functions than others.
It's subjective, even though it's a small amount of money. We're trying to stay away from subjectivity as much as we can. At least I thought that was the plan. Because once we make subjective decisions, well, it's open to,
That's my concern. Exactly. It's
open to discussion, and then we're going down a bad path. Why'd you do it,
okay, so. Stephen, you'll try to find some answers for us here for our next meeting, I think, and I'm looking at, January, what do we say, the 9th, that
Yes.
Thursday, after you're back, January 9th at 11?
Yep.
It'll be our next meeting. We're not meeting the 16th like we talked earlier, but just be the 9th for now.
Okay.
and if I could, when is the next form that I pulled up on my phone being sent out, that Massachusetts form for animals to the owners. When does that go out next?
I don't know.
We probably should know, right? Because if we're gonna eliminate it.
Yeah,
Um,
well, you would see when they would, well, maybe when he's responded, when they went.
I mean, who sends? Jeez, I can't find that now. It just bothers me.
I think it would come from the assessor's office.
Okay, so we send it out. We send out this form that's called,
Yeah, same with personal property, right? We get the forms back.
we send out the application. We send out the application.
Yeah.
And who puts that? That's gotta be manually put in an envelope. Who does that? So the clerk, you do that?
Yeah.
And each year, okay, I guess when is it sent out? And, out of curiosity, I'm just curious, how do we know that we have all the farmers in town? I guess it's a small town, but
We don't.
we don't, yes. Because there could be, how about the alpaca farm, right across from you? They still got llamas
I
there?
don't think so, no.
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 Are there others? We don't know. How do we know?
I don't think we have a grouping for farms. It's just, well, open space or land or residents. I don't think it.
Well, we don't have a grouping for farms. We just
No,
have
we
a
don't know farms. and-
value given to us from the
Yeah.
Division of Local Services.
Right. Okay,
Okay, so that's. the-
I don't know how Cynthia did it in the past, whether she knew the farms, listing all the farms, she kept track somewhere, a listing of all the farms we had in town, and would send out the form, just like the 61 A and B forms for land, well, I think that, I don't know if she sent them out or the people looked online and saw the due date and sent them in. And she would keep track of who sent them in and compare to prior years and say, oh, this farmer didn't send them in. Maybe I'll call him and remind him that he needs to send it in. Some of them that were the big farmers that were in town, for some reason they forgot or were late or out of town when it was supposed to be sent in, so there's that kind of informal tracking, I guess.
Well, that's what I was suggesting earlier. She had such local knowledge.
Yeah, right.
She just knew all this and it
Right.
may or may not have been. she just-
Isn't there a zoning? I mean, don't we know from zoning what's classified as farmland?
I don't think that's a farm, that's not a farm category, it's not a category for, I don't think for zoning, it's your AR1s, 2s, your commercial, industrial, but we don't tax based on the zoning, we tax based on land use, or we assess on land use.
Okay,
You can have a residence on a commercial parcel, or the zone commercial, we assess it as a residence, not as a commercial business.
uh-huh. But isn't farming less expensive?
Well, there's breaks for excess land. The value goes down from, what, 100,000, say average for a building lot down to 3,000 for excess land. And a lot of farmers are in, or if you're an APR or a chapter land, yeah, it's down to them values or even less.
Right, well, that's what I'm saying. If there's a benefit to them to be zoned
Yes.
farming, it seems like that could be the cross-check.
But
for
it's
Who
not.
we're asking.
It's an open space, I guess they call it, or open land, whatever the category is. You know, we recently had some farms sell on River Road, and we went out with RRG this past year. And said, these farms sold for considerably more than we had assessed for. I mean, 4 or 5 times, and we're talking $1 million plus.
Right,
And should we be assessing for something near that? And their response was, no, because farmland is only assessed at, say, 3,000 or less an acre. But farmers paid, say, 30,000 an acre because they wanted the land. So that's how you get these $2 million sales for farmland when they're only assessed for 200,000 and not 2 million.
okay, but it seems like those
So
are the people we should be asking to identify their machinery.
Well, yeah, some of them are on here, I think. Some of the newer ones, yeah, are on here, and I don't know. How we keep track of that. I mean, the bigger farmers are on here, the big farms are on this list for machinery.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
But you had a good point
So,
there, Jenny.
uh,
I mean, it should be, it's somewhere, you would have thought somewhere it could have been denoted, that this is a farm versus a commercial piece of property versus a residential.
you're getting the tax reduction because you're a farmland, then it's reasonable to ask what machinery you have.
If I could say one thing about, farmers and, my experience as a realtor, farmers are often cash poor and land rich. And,
Right.
when they, came to me in Florida, they came with cash, because they had sold their land. Where I'm heading with this is regarding the trend that, we're trying to figure out here is I'm guessing, and guessing is never a good way to go, that the overall trend is that farmland is being sold off in the Northeast. And that the farms in our area are probably not expanding. They're probably, if anything, contracting a bit as they, well, just in Mill River Road in Deerfield, where they just sold all that land, they didn't just sell it, but they put up houses.
yeah,
And they figured out that, we're gonna take our land, we're gonna turn it over to condos or development or whatever it might be, because it's much more advantageous to them.
Right.
From a monetary point of view, so that may or may not be in our, I'm looking into that right now, to tell you the truth. See if I can get some data on that, and that may help our trend argument or
Okay.
discussion.
okay, so what else do we need to talk about today? Is that's basically it for now? Well,
Did we say 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock on the night?
11,
I just have,
Because we originally had 9 o'clock, that had 10 o'clock
is that what,
on the 16th.
yeah, we're not meeting in the 9th, we're meeting the 9th instead right now.
I hear you say that, and I'm checking the time because I thought that we were going 10 a.m. instead of 11 a.m.
Want to give Stephen time to get his stuff together and prepared, and if he's got other stuff, he's gotta do it before a meeting, because that's usually the end of the day for him, so I'd hate to take 2 hours out of his day rather than an hour, whatever.
Okay, it just bites in, it's better for me to be the start or the end of the day, not middle.
That's from my point of view, yeah, as you know, I'm retired, so I can pretty much meet any schedule.
Stephen, does it feel important to you to be 11 rather than 10?
would, 10:30? For everyone?
That's a good compromise suggestion.
Works for me.
Does that work, Fred?
Yeah, okay,
Okay, that works.
10:30.
Okay, if I could, throw one more thing out there, not today. Everyone has, participated in the mission statement. I was really pleased, and we had some nice comments all the way around. It's not the most important piece of business, but I'm wondering, not today, but we can certainly get that knocked out perhaps at the next meeting, unless we have a little too much going
Are
on.
these two the same? What's the difference between?
What do you think of that? Jenny?
This other one is CPA, this is CPA money.
Yeah,
Both of them say the same thing, did you?
What are they talking about, Mike?
They switched gears here.
Yeah,
The warrant to collect real estate taxes, that we need to sign. Do I need to sign this?
personal property. Okay, this one is for,
I hope you don't need my signature. I got no wheels.
There's
That hurt.
the real estate. I need to, one of them should be for CPA, it should be,
Yeah, we got the CPA, that's the
Oh.
CPA, that's CPA, we got that. Okay,
I may have written over one of them, just a moment.
What'd you pick up on? I missed it.
no, this is CPA, okay.
Okay.
And, okay, here, okay, we're talking about the personal property amount, okay, there's a warrant going out now, tax collector. The personal property, the tax is, the total is $167,000. And what we're arguing about or discussing here is 7,000 for the farmers. Machinery and equipment, 7,000 out of 167,000 is what?
1 minute.
4% maybe at the
So you're
most?
saying both the machinery and the animals equal 7,000?
Yes,
Yes, $7,742.
and the total is 167,000 for personal property is what we're asking for. The requests are out there. So that's what you said, 4%?
4%, about, yeah.
Okay,
I need
so
to
that's what, yeah, you need to sign that.
both of these.
Yeah, both, because this is CPA and that's for personal property.
Yeah, a little more than 4%.
So that's the argument that the tax collector is saying, you know, do we want to go after that 4%, continue with that 4% or not?
I guess the question is it, we already talked about it, is it
Yeah.
cost effective or?
Yeah, that's what they're saying. Is it cost effective for that
Or not?
Well,
amount or?
you know what? Personally, I feel like she should answer that question.
So she's asking us, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's a good response.
Okay,
But, you know, she's asking us, is it cost effective? Or she's asking us to waive it?
She's asking us to look into it. Yeah. I think,
I'd go back with that question. I mean, we
We-
still don't know what of the 7,000, what percent is animal and what percent is machinery?
1%, 710 is animal, of the $7,742, 710 is animal excise tax.
Okay,
So that was
so the
first-
bulk of it is machinery.
All machinery.
Yeah.
So we, matter of fact, we were prepared to go to the board, last meeting. And I was the only one here. Stephen came a little later to support me, to tell them that we thought you should eliminate the excise tax on animals based on what we thought was the request from the, tax collector. Now, to your further top of the tax collector, it's now turned into farm machinery and animals. So, I'm glad that meeting was pushed off, as we would not look as well as we could have.
okay, anything else we need to do, Stephen, for this meeting today? Anything
I
else you got?
am just making the corrections for the real estate commitment. That warrant will need to be signed and then we will be all set for today.
Okay,
In terms of Mike's question about the mission statement, I'd just like to, I think they kept getting better. I'd like to just review the language differences.
Look at Fred's. I thought he hit it on the head. He tweaked it, you tweaked it.
Yeah.
It's I like Fred's version, but, yeah.
I
Please
think
look at
I
it.
do too. I just would like to read it again.
Sure, absolutely.
we can talk about it at the next meeting.
Yeah, it's not like it's a major thing, but it will go on the internet.
Okay.
We could.
Yep.
We have to vote on adjournment.
No, we gotta sign this other
Gotcha.
warrant article here.
Are we recording still?
Yes.
Oh, your camera got hit there.
Yeah.
You're back.
So are we all done with me? Because I can't
Yes.
get there.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, Meeting adjourned,
Seconded,
all in favor, aye,
aye.
okay.